I am with one of my dearest friends, Ed Campos. Ed, welcome to the bridge. Thanks for agreeing to be on with us and sharing your story.
Thank you, Kate. It's an honor to be on here. I'm so excited about this project you got working on.
Yeah.
It's always a joy to spend time with you.
Well, and I honestly can't think of anyone else in my edu circle that lives community quite like you. And when I first started thinking about a podcast that I would even want to record, you came to mind because of the work that we've done over the last couple of years and just the fact that I've been in your orbit for so many moons and watched the magic of connection, like authentic connections with you and so many other people. And so it's fun to do this. I think you would be my person if I was going to go on the podcast with someone that is my community, I would probably bring you. So this is really cool. I'm excited.
I mean, the feeling's mutual. You're my person too, Kate. That's why we do the playground
That's
together
why we
too,
do
right?
it.
So that's who do I want to play with and build community with, Kate?
Let's do it. Yeah. Okay. So, I want to start with a story that I gotta hear, which is about a Bluetooth speaker and just joy. So, just take us there. What is the story?
So I like that I don't know what question you asked when it led me to this, remembering this. When I first started presenting, right? Because when I would go to these Q conferences and stuff, I was just attending Q Rockstar, the tech, ISTE, and give me all the knowledge. And then I never saw myself as a presenter, as a speaker, anything like that. And then until people started saying, "Hey, you should present, you should share stuff," it's like, "No, that's not me." And but it's such a great network of community, like you're talking about, that's encouraging, supporting, which is why you go back and they start to see things in you that you don't see it. So I started presenting. I was scared to death, terrified. So then, that moment when you're presenting and you're right after someone and they haven't wrapped up and unplugged their laptop,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Dude, I'm on in like 2 minutes.
Go.
You're digging into my time." You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
I'm already stressed out. I don't do this. And then I was like, so this is how I bought the Bluetooth speaker. This Bluetooth, it wasn't
That
this one,
one
but
exactly.
no, I mean, we could say, let's just say, yes, this Bluetooth speaker, exactly. It's been a long time. Many Bluetooth speakers have come and gone. Um, I got the Bluetooth speaker so that I could start queuing up music, so that it was like the Oscars music to cue them off, like, wrap it up, beat. Like, that's to do that, and to calm my nerves so that while I'm plugging things in, I got a little rhythm, getting, the WD-40 and I'm ready to go, and then, taper down the music, and then let's begin. And, like, just to watch people walk in, like, "Oh, it's gonna be a cool session. Got a good jam going on." So that's how it started. And it really just calm my anxiety, help, cue the presenter before me for that. But then I started, like, I took Matt Vaudrey's workshop on music
Yeah.
cues, changed my life, like, save your time, save your voice by having students do music cues. So I was like, and I took it and ran with it. And I was like, "Get Up, Stand Up" by Bob Marley. And when my students were going to get up and go to the wall, when they moved two whiteboards over to look at each other's work, play Beyonce to the left, to the left. When they do a gallery walk, Walk Like an Egyptian, or Walk Hard by Johnny Cash, or whatever, just being silly with it. And I just started having fun, and I have with my phone, controlling Spotify from my phone. I was like, DJ, it, untethered me. I started having more fun, and then the kids were loving it. And then I remember a teacher. I was doing this workshop, and I was talking about the music cues, and I did this workshop in East Bay. And then I saw the teacher a week later, and they were like, "Hey, Ed, just want to let you know, I went out and bought a Bluetooth speaker right after your session." I'm like, "Cool." And she is like, "I know you talk about it's good for the kids, but I needed it for myself." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." She goes, "I needed to have more fun at work." I go, "For sure. Because you're not having fun at work. No kids are having fun learning from you, you know?"
Hmm.
And so I just love that, because we, we're all about students, but we got to realize what brings us joy,
Yeah.
and if it's just a Bluetooth speaker playing some jams, and then kids contribute and they add built to the playlist. So that's my
So,
this is like my Linus blanket. You know how Linus has his blanket? This is
yeah.
like my precious right here. My
My
never
precious.
never leave home without it.
Okay, and how formative though those music cues, your music cues and Matt's session was just as formative for me. And I think when I the turning point for me because I knew I learned about Matt because I saw your session and you were having us it was I think at Q Bold in like Laguna Beach or something. And you had redesigned a classroom and you had helped this teacher. I think you made whiteboard walls in their classroom, and it was just this total reimagine of a learning space. And I could be getting the location wrong, but anyways, and you were doing the music cues for us as participants, and I was like, what is this? What is this musical magic like that is happening that we're all like laughing and moving and grooving? And so I got to experience it as a learner first, and all I could think of was what you were saying, right? Like if as a professional developer and a professional learning leader, if I'm not having fun, dude, those teachers aren't having fun, the kids aren't having fun. So, anyways, that story is so close to my heart too because that is totally music cues are huge for me, and I've since kind of developed my own playlist. So we'll have to put your playlist in the show notes for sure,
Yes, and
and Matt
yours,
and mine,
and
sure.
Matt's
And
blog.
Matt's
Yeah, because
and Matt's
his
blog.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because I did what I added to mine were like game show jingles
yeah.
for just transitions where I didn't need them to actually move or do anything more than just like I wanted to set a 1 minute timer. So I'll find a 1 minute jingle and it'll be like I Dream of Jeannie, like do 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 and it'll yeah. Okay. Anyways,
Yep.
we'll share it all. It's so
No,
fun.
I love that. And then I always like to do a little raffle, spin a flippity, and have somebody win
Mm.
something. Like, and then so I use what's Spanish Fleet, Bob Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass
Do you want
Spanish
to press?
Fleet.
Yes.
That song is like because he used to make all or he or they used to make all the theme show songs back in the
Yes.
day. So it's totally that. And
Yeah.
it's like it's time to win something. It's just 70. It turns into 1970s. Let's somebody's gonna win something. It's a whole vibe.
Oh my God. Okay. So let's keep going down this path of like joy and fun and authentic like connection because one of the things I admire so much about you is that you have this authentic advocate heart and like you put your money where your mouth is. And when the world was locked down, I still have shirts that I bought for fundraisers for was it your sister who's a nurse? That
Cousin?
you yeah
Yes.
was yeah and so you had some t-shirts designed, people could buy the t-shirts and money would go to the nurses that were working in the COVID wings, and which was just amazing. And then you also started this side project called Midnight Pedagogy. It came out of COVID, right? Midnight Pedagogy.
Yeah, I was just retelling that story to somebody, and I actually think I want to write a book about that because I think that is such a it's just such a moment in time that is never gonna happen again. But the way people came together to build community, get through a tough time. What had happened was, uh, you know, the shutdowns happened. NBA shut down their season. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is real." Right? I mean,
This
that's
got
what really
real.
made it real. It wasn't until the NBA shut down the season,
Sure.
and then someone's like, "Well, we got to do this Zoom thing." And then, how do you engage people on Zoom? What's a breakout room? And I'm like, I don't know what a breakout room is. If you can remember back when you didn't know what that was. So I threw out, the bat signal on Facebook, Instagram, other Twitter, and was like, hey, anybody want to jump into a Zoom so we can figure out breakout rooms? My buddy Paul Gordon down in near Palm Springs is like, oh, I'll jump in. So he jumped in. A couple other people jumped in. We did it. Okay, that's cool. We could do it. And then I jumped off. And then the posts were still up. So a lot of people kept saying, oh, are you guys off? Can I jump in? And I'm like, oh, I'll jump back in. So like that whole night, I kept jumping back in. And it ended up staying. And then we're like, hey, so how are things going with you? Oh, yeah, this and that. And so we did the breakout rooms. And then we're like, we should do this again tomorrow. So then we did it again tomorrow. We ended up doing it every day, every night for a year, like a year and a half.
What? I
Like,
didn't know that.
oh, and that's not an exaggeration, Kate. It was every night because what else were we doing? Like we were trying to like follow the rules, and it was like a lot of ed tech folks that were tech leaders trying to support. So it became this like community, like almost like an unconference. Hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing? We ended up. It was a support group for sure. It was like a little sandbox to test out new technologies virtually. Hey, jump into this Jamboard, jump into this, you know, whatever. And we started doing PD for each other on Friday. Let's have some contests. We actually did like giveaways on Friday. So we did 10 to midnight every day for a year.
Oh
It was
my
crazy.
God. Did you get sponsors
That's
for the giveaways?
yes. White Book gave us
Oh,
sponsors.
nice.
We got we did some Nearpod stuff, Pear Deck. We got a couple of different, companies, and we were just like, hey, what else are we gonna do? And then we would raffle off a pizza, and then someone would win a pizza that we would deliver to the house the next Friday. We would DoorDash it
Oh
to
my
them.
God. Stop. So
Yeah,
wait,
we
did
were
people
like,
like throw money at this? Like were people like, here, I'll just start like for pizza, or did you get that donated too? Or you
nah.
just
I was
like, I'll
just,
just
I
buy
was like,
pizza? Yeah,
I'll just buy pizza, like you know what I mean. I was saving money on gas, wasn't driving nowhere, so
sure.
we were just. But the cool thing is, like, we bonded, and we're like, there's some amazing people I met. I just saw my friend Rita out in Dos Palos last week. She came over, gave me one of those, you know, soul giving hugs. And I'm like, oh yeah, like Rita was one of the pedagogy. You know what I mean? We didn't meet each other
Mm-hmm.
in person for a year and a half, 2 years until one of the first conferences back in Palm Springs. But like that's gonna be the crew that you're bonded with forever. We got
Oh
ourselves
yeah.
through some crazy times. I mean, we ended up doing like we're just having silliness. You know what I mean? Like trying to
Mm-hmm.
deal. We're going crazy, stir crazy for sure. We're going stir crazy together. So we would come up with these like really like just dumb challenges to do to bring some joy and levity into it. Like do create your Bitmoji classroom, make it, give it this thing, and remember all that stuff,
Oh, remember Bitmoji classrooms?
and then people were doing all these virtual events, and then they started hiring us to do like some levity team building stuff. We were just like, we
That's
and
crazy. I didn't know this. This is
oh yeah,
crazy.
we did like a whole lip dub. Eddie Gonzalez did like "Don't Stop Believing." That happened impromptu at one of the Cubold virtual sessions that we got everybody to come on and grab like some kind of um, instrument and played along to "Don't Stop Believing." It's on YouTube. Like I'll drop that in the show
Oh,
notes
you
too.
have
So
to.
and everybody's like just lip syncing, and Eddie Gonzalez had it in gallery view, and he was recording it live, just going spotlighting different people based on what they were doing.
Wow.
um, we did a silent disco virtually. That was a huge hit. So we started
Oh.
like that's one of my most creative projects I've ever my most ambitious and creative projects I've ever done. I was like, man, I love a silent disco. I wonder what that would look like virtually. And we pulled it off because Paul Gordon had the sound mixing skills. Eddie Gonzalez had that Spanish DJ flavor. Then we ended up with Jason Smith from Nevada, who's an actual DJ and like killed us all. But like we just had a lot of fun doing a silent disco in Zoom. We had a whole websites for people, and everybody's muted. You
Wait,
change your
what is
back.
happening? What?
Did you
So
not know
people were
about that
just,
either?
I didn't. Were people just like listening and dancing on Zoom?
Yeah, you've been to a real silent
Yeah.
disco.
Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder we can make that happen. And Paul Gordon's like, oh yeah, we could have three different streams, live streams going, and like what's that gamer profile?
Um, that
First
one.
Twitch,
Yeah,
or
yeah, Twitch.
yeah. So he was like, we could do it on Twitch, or we could do it on um Periscope. Actually, I think we
Mm-hmm.
started on Periscope first with three Periscope channels. I was the DJ, and then we had a whole website set where you had to download the three background colors. I was blue, Edito was purple, Paul was orange. It was a whole Google site that we created Download these. You're gonna get in. Everybody's muted. You can't unmute yourself. And whichever one you're listening, we just ask that you change your background color to the DJ that you're listening to, so that we know who you're listening to. And people were just coming in the chat. People had kids dancing with their kids. Like people were the next day. People were like, "That was so much fun. I was so sore. I fell out of my bed with a cramp. I haven't moved my. You know what I mean? Like." And I was like, dude, it was like we were into it, man, going crazy. We basically had like a club going on Zoom.
I am shook right now. Like as somebody who thought I was like this is a different level of connection of you are like bringing. Oh my God, it's like you guys really did go to battle together.
Oh,
This group.
and we swung for the fences creatively. Like that was so this is what like I've heard this phrase by Issa Rae, creativity comes from brokenness. I love Issa Rae. She's
Mm.
such an inspiration. And she talks about like you don't need a lot of money to be creative, right? And if you think about it, if you've ever been poor, if you've ever not had money, what are you gonna do, right? You just survive, and that's where the create when you're not a little too comfortable, when you're outside of
Mm.
in that pushed outside of your comfort zone, and your back's up against the wall, like what are you gonna do? And I take that phrase, creativity comes from brokenness, but I think that's like brokenness of money, brokenness of spirit,
Yeah.
brokenness. You know what I mean? Like when you're
Lonely.
down, lonely,
Mm.
and you don't have that connection, what are you gonna do?
Mhm.
So we
Mhm.
force that connect. It's some of the most creativity I've ever been around, and it was a perfect mix of skill set with me, Dr. Edito Gonzalez, and Paul. And it's like we all just needed each other. And it's funny because I would see people down in these conferences. They're like, "I just want to thank you." Me and my wife would pop into those midnight pedagogy, and I wouldn't recognize them. I felt bad, but they were like, we would pop in there. It was so awesome. It was funny, and like it just gave us a lot of joy, and we learned a lot too. I'm like, cool. I don't remember half of that stuff. It was like, you know what I mean?
I do. But
but
you're like, thank you for thanking me.
but when you have like, I think that's a perfect example of when you have a
Mhm.
community, you take risks, and
Mhm.
you're like, I mean, we were doing that one of those times. My mic wasn't working. They're like, you sound like a robot, dude. All your music sounds like robotic. And I was like, um, and everybody's DJ. We did it like 4 or 5 times, the silent disco. And I was like, I think I got to tap out, guys. My mic's not working. The tech gods are not with me. And I just tapped out and I went to the other two DJs. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
and then we figured out what it was, iterate on it. It was so technical,
Yeah.
and not doing it in the same room was a whole different
Right.
way of communicating back channel. Hey, this is going on. It was awesome.
I mean, it makes me think about uh, like the chaos that you're describing and the community that came together. Like I'm gonna stretch this out, but like thinking about other educators that are in their spaces feeling chaos. Now it's not like it's not COVID chaos, right? But like it's chaos. And like how did you first of all, how did you guys find each other, the three of you? And then how did you guys like make decisions on what to do together or like figure how did you figure it out? How'd you find each other? How'd you figure out how it all works?
I mean, we kind of knew each other before. I didn't know Paul Gordon as well before. I had
Mm.
seen him at some Q events. Actually, let me take that back. We had done a version of Midnight Pedagogy when we would go to the LDI, QLDI, because
Where we first met, Ed
where we
Campos.
first met, there's the connection right there. So the late night after, hey,
We
the
had one of
LDI
those too.
conference is done. We'll see y'all later. We're gonna go, um, like just like the first time I met you,
Hmm.
and then we played game. Went back to the hotel room, played some games, had some uh pizza, beverages, snacks, whatever
Oh my
the
God. What a crazy group.
chicane
That was so wild.
chicanery. So the same thing happened down south. Paul Gordon and some other folks from that area. Um, we ended up late going to some pizza place, and then so it became a thing. Like that's actually where it started, and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do another midnight pedagogy. So the term was there, and we started to know each other a little bit there because it was fun. We were the people that didn't want to go to sleep early, and we're
Hmm.
like, hey. and and then when it happened again, it's like, oh, it's like that, but virtually. And we really
Mm-hmm.
don't want to go back because we can't do anything. We're stuck in our homes. So, and
Mm-hmm.
then Eddie Gonzalez, I had, even though he's from the Central Valley and like Bakersfield, I had known a little bit, but getting to know him, it was really through Midnight Pedagogy and like, um, yeah. And now
I
he's
feel
one
like
of my,
that's, I was going to say, that's blossomed into like really cool partnerships with him, right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that guy I would say is like one of the most inspirational people I
Wow.
know. And like, I would say, as much there's not a lot of like Mexican Chicano folks that I'm looking up to that like are doing things big, and he's one of them. He might
Mm-hmm.
say the same thing about me. So it's like, when you
Mm-hmm.
hit a glass ceiling type of thing, you're like, where are my
Mm-hmm.
mentors at? Where am I? Like, well, we got each other right now. Let's keep pushing and
Mm-hmm.
keep inspiring. So yeah,
I
it's a fun
feel
group.
like we'll put his contact information in the show notes too, so people can find him.
Yeah, he's got a book coming out pretty soon too.
He does.
Yeah, yeah,
Dang. Oh well, then he should probably be on this podcast.
yeah, for sure.
That's fun. Okay, let's transition to stickers.
Yeah.
Because, okay, something as simple as a sticky piece of paper that's in a cute shape that has a sick little image on it and a cool phrase has actually been this glue that I feel like has connected so many people to you. And I have a fondness for stickers myself. When I was little, I had one of these things called a little sticker factory, and it was this plastic box that had circle stickers, and I had these little plastic coins that had images, and I could take crayons and kind of rub over the coin, and I could make my own stickers, and I was hooked. I mean, this is in the 80s, so Lisa Frank and my sticker book, and I was like, I'm all about the stickers. And to find another sticker heart out there is special, but you take it to a totally different level. So first of all, show us what you got, and then I don't know. So tell us the story of a couple of them because I know each one has a deep meaning.
So I have a couple of these tackle boxes that I have had for a while. This one, it's not super full, um,
Because you give them
but
away.
I give them away.
Uh
I give
huh.
a lot away.
Yeah.
So there's like some really cool ones in here. This one is for my nonprofit. I like that one, Campo Creativo.
Which we were going to talk about next.
This one is Creative Hustle Retreat, which you've been on.
Mm, I've been on
Also,
that. Very cool.
um, Bottle of Dreams, which I like.
Oh, that's
Uh,
oh, that's a good story too.
and then the playground. I've got the playground one right
Yeah.
there. So that's a big
Oh,
one.
the good ones. Those are good ones.
Yeah. Oh, and then I got here's a holographic one of the Campo Creativo graphic. But
Oh, sick.
and what's funny is I don't think I was into stickers when I was younger. Like it was I mean I know people, I know the name that you mentioned, the
Lisa Frank. Mm-hmm.
Lisa Frank, I've heard that. But
Mm-hmm.
how I started with stickers is um one of my students, I was I had just watched the movie Straight Outta Compton, the movie about
Okay.
NWA with
Mm-hmm.
Ice Cube's son, and
Yeah.
I was like, man, that movie was awesome. I actually went with my middle school buddies that I grew up with to go watch it. That when we used to listen to NWA, so the next day I was like still like on this beaming of like, man, that was such a great movie. And I was talking about the movie with some of my high school students, and then they were like, man, that's cool. You watched that movie, Mr. Campos? I'm like, yeah. They're like, that's cool. Our math teacher like listens to NWA. I'm like, I mean, I grew up on that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna play it in class, but we could talk about the themes and you know what I mean, the artistry. Um, and then one of the kids, they're like, oh, you're like straight at a Campos. That's funny. And I go, that's funny. And they go, yeah, there's a website. Beats by Dre has a website. You can straight it at anywhere.com at the time, and you
Mm-hmm.
could put in your city and it would make it. And they were like, you should make one, print it out, put it up on the door. I'm like, they went, made it, I printed it, I put it out, and they were like, you should make stickers. I was like, what would I do with the stickers? They were like, you should give them to us. I go, you want a sticker with your math teacher's name on it? Like,
I
y'all
mean,
are
what
some
an
weird.
honor, right?
I mean,
Like,
at
okay.
first I was like, one part, y'all are some weird kids. Another part, that's flattering. I must be doing
Exactly.
something right. So that's kind of one of the things that started it. And then at the same time, I was presenting, and then I was like, I would see learning from Q people, like, gotta have a catchy title to the name.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, Will Kimbley, rest in peace, had
Rest
this
in
one.
peace.
May the forms be with you.
Uh-huh.
And he did a Google form session out, and like that was just gold. And he would pack the house with it, and I'm like, that's cool. That's conjuring up imagery. We know what you're talking about. That wordplay. I love wordplay. And then so I came up and I was like, and I go, but if you had stickers,
Mm.
then may the forms be with you with that style. So like I was having this Game of Thrones, I mean, yeah,
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones
That's the
watch
actual
party.
title, yeah.
Yeah, Game of Thrones watch party at my house because my friends would come to my house and we watch the episodes when they would get released on Sunday. And then we're having a couple beers. One of my friends, graphic design artist, and I'm like, I go, you know what? I want to do this session on like Chrome extensions, Game of Chromes, where it's like Joffrey sitting on the throne, which is scrawny body, but a big old Chrome logo head and a tilted crown. And my buddy's like, that sounds cool. My buddy just starts sketching it, and I'm like, that's fire, dude. Can you do that? And I'll pay you. So I like shelled out $100 to him, got a sick design, and then that was my. And then that got me on like, oh, I can bribe people to come to my sessions with like a cool sticker. So even if you don't like pack the house like Will Kimberly or whatever, so then it became like my baiting to come to my
Yeah.
session, and you will get at least you'll get stickers, you know.
At least, yeah. Those are like prized possessions though. Like if you have a Game of Chromes like sticker, that speaks volume. That's it like represents that you were a part of like a chapter. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there was that chapter where we were all like googly bursting with Googles, and that was such like a token. Like I
yeah,
survived this.
yeah. And I don't know if you can see right here, but I have all my laptop cases
Yeah.
with
Yep.
the stickers on them. So that's like a little snapshot, little time capsule yearbook. So I can go back and find the Game of Chromes on the top right. That's the oldest one with the straight of the compost actually in the middle on the very top. Yeah.
But those weren't all your stickers. Those that because
Oh,
sticker exchanges turned into a thing.
for sure. Yeah.
I feel like you were at the beginning of it though. I mean, I feel like people got a taste of some of those stickers and then they were like, "Well, I could do that maybe." And then we were all making stickers. And the next thing you know, we were like, "Oh my god, we were just having." And now Jody runs the sticker like at the Jody Green runs the
Yeah.
sticker session where she teaches people how to do stickers. It's great. It's
The
great.
sticker swap.
It like
Yeah.
reeks of community, you know, and connection and
Yeah.
um I think at least people that have collected some of my stickers, like they're like if I ever get to see one of my stickers in the wild, I'm like, oh, we are connected. You know, like
There you
we
go.
have gone through something together. That's really cool. Um yeah, yeah, I love it. And thank you for giving that to so many of us. And your wordplay is fire. So keep I know you're not ever going to stop with that, but it's so fun to work with you and to see like what your brain turns into and where it all goes because now I know that you're deep in work with you launched a nonprofit and you're now super focused in different ways on community. So maybe you take a few minutes to like give us an update, like what's going on with you and Campo Creativo and what is this?
Yeah. So ever since I left the classroom, I didn't want to leave the classroom. You know, I loved where I was at. The class I had this beautiful space to play in. Had, you know, transform this classroom through this 21st century learning grant that we had. And I've always wanted to try and give back to teachers and then give back to students, right? And one of my students at the independent study high school that I was at, in that classroom that I had with the whiteboard walls everywhere, the TVs, the turntables, like one of my students, Adia Aguilar, she was a freshman, sophomore at the time. I think she had been homeschooled most of her career, and that was like her first school she went to. And then I would see her um, doing art, and she would like I caught her doodling, drawing pictures of me
Mm.
one time. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty good. I was like, if you just shave some pounds off of the belly, don't make it so realistic, I'll pay you for that, you know, because the Bitmojis don't look like me. So I ended up asking her parents if I could hire her, commission her to make emojis for me for when I was presenting and doing keynotes.
Mm.
And so I've hired her over the years. And then I found out she was doing all of this art with like this app called Sketch Club and her finger. I'm like, wow, you don't even have an iPad or Apple Pencil.
Wait, she was drawing you like an avatar of you with her finger on a phone?
Yeah, and just zooming in to get a detail. And I'm like, and it was so good. Like all of her art, I'm like, you did that with your, I found out that the tools that she was using, right? But creativity comes from broken. You don't got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was about to buy a new iPad. So I'm like, I asked her parents, hey, is it okay if I give Adia my old iPad and Apple Pencil? I think that could help take her art to another level. They were like, yeah. So I gave that to her.
Hmm.
I really wanted to see her succeed. I think she's so talented. And so I got a new MacBook, gave her my old MacBook with,
Wow.
uh, you know, with Adobe on there, trying to get her into like Illustrator and I have a lot of graphic design friends, so I was trying to connect her with them, mentorship. She's now on my board, and we talk about this all the time. It's kind of one of the origin stories of Campo Creativo of our student creativity grants, at least, because I want to. There's a lot of ideas out there that if they're so brilliant, and whether you're in the math class, you recognize them. We need to give these kids the tool, give them opportunity to apply for a contest for these tools. So we have student creativity grants that we're giving out to talented kids. They need a microphone, they need some software, they need some paints, they need to take a class. That's what we want to help. And so they apply. We gave out 2 teacher grants because I just my own knowing what I want to do and knowing my friends and the creative ideas that my friends have when they didn't have resources. I didn't have resources for a long time up until I got that grant, and then it was like boom, all these ideas were swimming. Now it's like go, but you don't need all that money. You can do a lot with a minimum. So then we've been partnering with different businesses to match funds for teacher creativity grants, and which is what we're going
And
to do.
these
We're
are
going to partner with
businesses, these are local
here in
businesses to you?
here in the Central Valley, Visalia. So the first one we did was partner with the Planing Mill Pizzeria. My friend Tim Lewis and his wife Alicia Lewis, they own it. I used to work with Alicia at Visalia Charter Independent Study. I love going there. We have our meetings there in their lounge in the back, so it only makes sense. So I was like, we said, well, what's a school you would love to give a teacher creativity grant to and open up a contest? And Alicia went to Redwood. Their kids go to Redwood, so we opened it up at Redwood High School and gave $2,000 grants. One to a Spanish teacher who's going to have a school-wide Dia de los Muertos celebration, so it's going to help pay for all of the calaveras, the activities, the ofrendas, we're gonna help too, which is awesome. So, which our board just like we're in. Let us know how we can help and make this even bigger. The other grant went to a special ed teacher that teaches a special day class for them to have. They call them the Mighty Power Rangers because they're Rangers, the Redwood Rangers, and their special day class is going to be they are going to create art projects that they then teach to the general population. So
Wow.
I'm like, how are we not going to fund that, right? So
Oh my God.
is those kids are going to create art projects and lead general student the all the rest of the campus to come in and participate in that so they can connect, tell their stories. Some of the kids, that's the only way they can express themselves is through the art
Mhm.
because they might
Mhm.
not express themselves auditorily as well as others. But what a beautiful way to like just connect more people through that. So we funded those two. We just got it's not fully announced yet, but I have a good grant working on. Well, I have a contract with UCLA right now
Okay.
that we're gonna do some cool stuff. So that's gonna allow us to do some more things locally. And then working, we have something with the KCI Cross Center for Innovation
Mhm.
that we have contracted with. Um, well, I'm just gonna say because it's probably gonna be announced
Do
by the
it. Oh
time
my
it
God.
goes.
Brrr.
Yeah. So it's AIEDU launched a rural and indigenous AI literacy grants to help increase AI literacy in rural and indigenous communities. And so KCI applied. I was like subcontracted as part of that plan. It's because I live in a rural area and I do a lot of work with the KCI, and I have a connection with the Tachiyokits on the reservation here in the Santa Rosa Rancheria. So I'm a part of that grant. One of the two
Did it
big
get
pieces
fully
of,
approved? Did it get approved?
yep, it got approved. So it's going to be
Holy
launching. We're
mother
actually,
of how are we? Wait, what? Like what? Like I'm doing
yep,
sound effects now. Like what? This is
yep.
amazing.
I'm actually meeting with them right
Holy,
after this. Like in 6 minutes, I'm meeting with them. So,
I
yeah,
didn't know
so
it
it's
got
got approved.
approved.
It's approved.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
So I
I
get
could
to work.
cry. Oh
I get to
gosh,
go work with
Eddie.
my buddy Kenny Barrios, who's the youth liaison there for the Tachiyokats, Danny Yamas, who's director of the Student Education Center, and we're gonna do, they're gonna be going through the AI literacy courses, the capstone project
Oh,
that KCI has created. I'm gonna be the in-person support there as three of
it's
their
perfect.
members take. So it's gonna be awesome.
It's
I'm really excited about
perfect.
it.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh. And I know how long you've worked on this and how much work has gone into it from both KCI and your side, and this is such a big deal. And I keep coming back to you have done this. You have helped so many human children by helping educators and helping community, and it's so exciting to see your creativity turn into something like a formal nonprofit that is now reaching so many communities that desperately need support right now that are close and near and dear to your heart and my heart. And I'm so excited. That is so
Yeah.
wonderful news. And I love that we got to share it here. That's awesome.
And
Okay, so
then
we're
the
go
other
ahead.
one, can
Nope.
I share about the other one real quick? Because I might as well, because the
Yes.
contract is signed. So
Okay. Okay.
UCLA, we're working with UCLA Center X. Um,
Okay. This
it's
came through too.
in the education department came through, signed that contract. I am helping them create a web series on that's inspired by the show Hot Ones, the chicken wing show,
Of
but
course.
it's about spicy questions in computer science called Hot Ones and Zeros,
Oh
and
my god.
we're going to be
I can't.
doing interviews with computer science education leaders up and down the
Okay.
state, talking about spicy questions when it comes to like ethics, algorithmic bias, equity and
Oh, all
inequity,
those topics, all
and
those spicy
all,
topics.
all of the the gatekeeping. Um,
Oh my
it's gonna
gosh.
be yeah. I'm really excited about it. It's just gonna be creative. Like we're gonna do it we're gonna tackle spicy questions, but in a fun way, and
Yeah.
keep it levity.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some chips that we're gonna have some instead of chicken wings. We're gonna have chips and dips, where the chip is the hardware, the dip is the software, and
Stop.
like Zaretta Hammond says, the software is our culture. So I'm gonna bring some orange sauce, and we're gonna have a little charcuterie board of bread, chips and dips, breads and spreads for us to ask these questions through right there. So I mean, tell me that ain't on point.
That's already like sign me up already. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm dying. I feel like we could go on and on. We didn't even get to talk about AI Playground, but we'll drop information in there. That's just another joyful opportunity that Ed came up with that he and I've been able to partner with over the last year, and just creating like fun entry points for people to come and have conversations about AI, get to play with it, get to get their hands dirty because we don't give anybody enough time to learn this stuff. So we'll put
For
links to
sure.
that. And oh my God, these announcements for Campo Creativo, amazing. And the work that you've done just because it's only been around like a year and a half, like it's
A year and
been,
a half.
right? Year
Yeah,
and a
it'll be
half.
two
And
years in October, 2 years in November, or
amazing.
something like that.
It's just
Yep.
incredible. It's incredible. So we'll make sure to put all your contact information and all of those links in the show notes. I just want to end with one last question, which is if you could give a tip or a trick. I feel like you may have already done this, but just if you could summarize like a tip or a trick or I don't know, mantra, something that you would tell the next generation of educators, what would it be?
I don't know. I think like I would just say just trust your instincts and don't overthink it. You know what I mean? Like I spent I spent a lot of time like doubting myself early on, having that imposter syndrome, but it was really because I was trying to play a different role as a teacher. And it's like once I started like fully believing like that I have good ideas and that I add value and that I can just comfortably be who I am. I think that's when things started to happen, and not worrying about small things. But yeah, just don't overthink it. Trust yourself. You know what's good. You know what you need to do. You know what feels good, and take care of yourself.
Thanks, Eddie. It's always fun to hang out and all these updates. Oh my God, I got to turn so many pages in your storybook today. This is amazing. And we appreciate you and good luck with
It's gonna
all
be a
these
fun year.
projects. It's going to be
Yeah.
great.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, my friend.
All right. See you on the playground in
See you on the
September.
playground. Okay.